future teachers, current teachers and staff, center providers, Head Start teachers, home-based childcare providers, and the family, friends, and neighbors who provide full-time care or volunteer service to our young children birth through second grade. Our guest speaker tonight is dynamic and gives their all to early childhood education. It is definitely going to be a treat to hear them share a word of wisdom. So I invite you to listen in, comment in the chat, and help us celebrate our wonderful educators.
Thank you, Kelly. I'm Moss Bresnahan, the Executive Director of Illinois Public Media, and on behalf of all of us at WILL TV and Radio, welcome to our virtual Early Childhood Champion Celebration. It's so nice to have you join us all. And, we loved having this event in person in 2019. It was great fun, and we were very sorry we couldn't convene last year, but delighted that you could be with us tonight virtually. So thank you. And especially thanks to all of you for your critical work as early childhood education professionals in Illinois. This is a very exciting time for all of us at WILL as we use the power of public media to advance education and culture and good citizenship. Education is in the DNA of WILL. Every year we program more than 7,000 hours of quality, commercial-free educational programs for families with children ages 2 to 5. Through PBS Kids, we're committed to making a positive impact on the lives of children through curriculum-based entertainment with positive role models and content designed to nurture a child's total well-being. With a 360-degree approach towards learning and reaching children, PBS Kids leverages the full spectrum of media and technology to build knowledge, critical thinking, imagination, and curiosity. PBS Kids encourages children to interact as respectful citizens in a diverse society. By involving parents, teachers, caregivers, and communities as learning partners, PBS Kids helps to empower children for success in school and in life. Our bottom line is measured not by profit, but by how much it contributes to the welfare of our community's children. These resources at Illinois Public Media include the PBS Kids TV programming, pbskids.org, PBS Parents, and PBS Teachers. And our education department provides direct service in communities across Central Illinois, providing hands-on workshops, events, and screenings that help prepare kids and families for success in kindergarten and beyond. This, of course, includes our early childhood education program, the Book Mentor program, which has been generously funded by PNC's Grow Up Great grant. And we do our work in partnership with many of you, so thank you for your work. And we are delighted to welcome our guest speaker tonight, Dr. Jor'dan, who serves as the Executive Director of the Illinois Governor's Office of Early Childhood Development, where she supports the development and implementation of early childhood policy across multiple state agencies. So thank you all once again for joining us tonight. And before we go on, we want to show you a video thanking some of those who are making a difference in our community. Let's roll the tape.
Thank you for everything you do. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Miss Oliver, and today I would like to stop to say thank you to the one and only Mr. Charles Burton out of the Don Moyer Boys and Girls Club in Champaign, Illinois. Mr. Charles, on behalf of myself and the community and my family, I would like to come before you to say thank you, and we appreciate you in all that you do.
For everything you do, thank you. All the times that you helped me or made me laugh, a smile given to me when I was sad. I want to let you know about the great things that you do. So thank you for everything.
Hi guys, my name is Fee Oliver, and today I would like to nominate Ms. Liz Cooley from the Urbana School District from Wiley School. I would like to say thank you so much for all of your persistence, all of your consistency, as well as your dedication and your hard work with my child as well as the community. Thank you so much for all that you do. We appreciate you.
Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you.
I'm excited to have this opportunity to highlight Edna's Little Tunes. Edna's Little Tunes is a home daycare that is operated by Miss Edna Haynes. And I must say that she has been providing quality daycare for quite a while for children that reside in the Champaign-Urbana area. Even during the pandemic, with the restrictions and CDC and public health guidelines, she was still able to provide care for a number of families, not as many as she was licensed for because of the restrictions, but her daycare remained open, and there were many families that benefited from her being able to continue with daycare services during that time. So I want to say to Miss Edna, thank you so much for the quality daycare that you provided during the pandemic and the quality daycare that you continue to provide.
About the great things that you do. So thank you for everything you do. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you.
And thank you to everyone who submitted those videos and names of people to thank in our community. We sure have a lot of people to thank. And I'm honored now to introduce our keynote speaker who worked very hard during the pandemic, like all of you, 7 days a week to try to keep our kids educated and safe. Dr. Jamilah R. Jor'dan is the Executive Director of the Illinois Governor's Office of Early Childhood Development. She supports the development and implementation of early childhood policy across multiple state agencies. She has over 35 years of experience in the field of early care and education and has served in various leadership roles and positions. And she started her career in Head Start as an assistant executive director. She served as the accreditation project director and interim executive director of the Chicago Metropolitan Association for the Education of Young Children. Dr. Jor'dan was president of the Partnership for Quality Care. She is also past vice president of the National Association for the Education of Young Children. She served as a consultant for Strengthening Families Illinois through the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services, and she co-chaired the Family Specialist Credential Committee as part of the Gateways to Opportunity Illinois Professional Development System that acknowledges contributions of professionals who provide responsive, relationship-based services to families. She previously served as tri-chair of Gateways Workforce Development and Pathways Community. Dr. Jor'dan, so happy to have you with us tonight.
Good evening, and thank you, Kimberly, for the introduction. And I just want to say thank you to you and to, Kelly for the invitation to join you this evening via Facebook Live. And just a delight to be able to participate in the 2021 Early Childhood Champions virtual celebration. Moss, I want to thank you for your opening comments, and certainly as I listened and just also knowing the history of WILL, your commitment to the early childhood community within the state. So thank you so much. There are also, for events like this, there's always the individuals who are behind the scenes that make events like this possible. And joining us, I want to give a shout out to DJ Roach, and I'm sure there's others that have assisted with this evening's event. So again, I thank you. I also want to acknowledge the video as well. I think that there's a theme for this evening's celebration is thank you. And I'm sure you'll hear that, throughout the evening. And so again, I thank you. Again, I'm delighted to be invited to share in this evening's celebration. And on behalf of the Governor's Office of Early Childhood Development's team, I want to say thank you. This evening, we've gathered in this virtual space to celebrate you, our early childhood champions. And in addition, for the first time, awards will be given in 4 categories: Professional of the Year, Emerging Professional Award, Emerging Professional Student Award, and VIP, Very Important Person. We'll hear more about the award recipients later in the program, but at this time, I'd just like to say again, thank you and congratulations to the 2021 Virtual Celebration awardees. I also want to say thank you to PNC for your continued partnership and commitment to the early childhood education and care community since 2004. And please know how much your commitment means to the early childhood education community at large. Your investment supports the early educator workforce, the children and families they serve, as well as strengthens communities, all the communities where PNC has a presence. I want to acknowledge PNC for your 11th annual Women in Business Week, which is coming up next week. And through this annual event, PNC provide female financial decision makers, and I'll have that, put that in some kind of text for you, from business owners and executives to women who may be managing their finances for the first time. During this event, panelists will share their personal and professional struggles and triumphs weathering the pandemic. So to PNC, thank you so much. We appreciate you. When governors across the country, including Governor Pritzker in Illinois, began to issue executive orders last year due to the pandemic, we didn't know what we were facing, and certainly we didn't know the duration. The pandemic changed our lives, it changed our relationships with each other and how we interacted, the way we work, how we entertain ourselves. Many discovered new hobbies. Others discovered new recipes. Bananas were, there was an increase in the sale of bananas because individuals were Googling. I understand it was one of the top Googled topics as far as how to make banana bread. And you can include me in that top number because I am one who enjoys banana bread, but I took the opportunity to really explore other recipes with banana bread. So our travel also created our love for old school road trips and our overall lifestyle. One national survey noted that approximately 61% of the nation actually confessed to gaining weight over the last year. I won't tell, but even actor Will Smith took to social media, probably I think over the weekend, to share that he was in the worst shape ever in his life physically. For all of us, our technology skills were challenged as we started to use various platforms to stay connected. So these words you heard quite a bit. You're on mute. You're on mute. Can you hear me? And so that became central to our interactions with others. So you could count on hearing that at least once a day. You're on mute. Can you hear me? So for the first time in our nation and in our state, early childhood education and the early childhood educator workforce was at the forefront of national discussions. Across the country, child care programs closed. Prior to the pandemic, there was a national shortage of child care. National data predicted the COVID-19 pandemic could lead to the permanent loss of 4.5 million child care slots if financial support was not provided. The impact to the early childhood educator workforce would be significant, with the loss of employment for mostly women and people of color. In Illinois, close to 3,000 providers were in operation providing early childhood education and family support to essential workers. We are celebrating you this evening for your resilience and support of Illinois' children and families over the past year. We had to pivot quickly to meet the needs of Illinois' early educator workforce and our families. You became the lifeline for our families, creating varied strategies to support and engage our families. We heard your stories. We heard your stories about online activities with families, at-home learning kits, one-on-one virtual visits, mobile food pantries, and home deliveries of food, diapers, cleaning kits, among other supports. For that, we thank you. Research shows that the early years of a child's life are critically important for future success, and your hard work and dedication prior to the pandemic and over the last year during a challenging time and going forward continues to make Illinois' early childhood system one of the best in the nation. Your commitment and strength are extraordinary, and again, we thank you. You supported our efforts in keeping yourself, your staff, your families, and your community safe with public health measures that included reduction in the number of children who could be served, masking, hand washing, social distancing, among other measures. The pandemic was especially challenging in areas that were designated as disproportionately impacted areas, or DIA, many being communities of color. Amid the anxiety and uncertainty created by the pandemic, let us look ahead and reimagine Illinois' early childhood education system. Your continued support is needed as we move forward, as we recover from the pandemic. This is a shared moment in time that we will never forget. During this period of uncertainty comes opportunities, and we must continue to have hope. There is hope, and I'm here this evening to say to each one of you that there is hope. In March, President Biden signed the American Rescue Plan into law. The $19 trillion American Rescue Plan included $1 billion for Head Start programs. When combined with the $750 million in the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, and the $250 million in supplemental funds in the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act, the Head Start program has received a total of $2 billion in additional funding to support staff, children, and families during this unprecedented time. So continue to be encouraged. There is hope. President Biden announced last Thursday and I hope you had an opportunity in Families Plan and invest in our economic future. The plan represents once-in-a-generation investments in our nation's future, from early childhood to post-secondary education, so that all children and young people are able to grow, learn, and gain the skills they need to succeed. The American Families Plan will provide direct support to families to ensure that lower and middle-income families spend no more than 7% of their income on childcare, and that the childcare they access is of high quality. Research tells us that we must invest early to support our children's development and readiness for academic success. The plan will provide critical nutrition assistance to families who need it most and expand access to healthy meals to our nation's students, dramatically reducing childhood hunger. Leading economic research has shown that investments proposed in the American Families Plan will yield significant economic returns. Evidence shows that $1 invested in high-quality early childhood programs for lower-income children will result in up to $7.30 in benefits, including increased wages, increased educational attainment, improved health, and reduced crime. Building on the American Jobs Plan, investments in school and childcare infrastructure and workforce training, President Biden's American Families Plan will save the average family $14,800 per year on child care expenses, while also generating lifetime benefits for 3 million children, supporting hundreds of thousands of child care providers, allowing roughly 1 million parents, primarily mothers, to enter the labor force and significantly strengthening inclusive and equitable economic growth. Child care providers will receive funding to cover the true cost of quality early childhood care and education, including a developmentally appropriate curriculum, small class sizes, and culturally and linguistically responsive environments that are inclusive of children with disabilities. Proposed investments in the early childhood educator workforce, with more than 9 in 10 of whom are women, and more than 4 in 10 are women of color, as you are aware, are among the most underpaid workers in the country, and nearly half receive public income support programs. The investment will mean a $15 minimum wage for early childhood staff and ensure that those with similar qualifications as kindergarten teachers receive comparable compensation and benefits. In addition, proposals will ensure early childhood educators receive job-embedded coaching and professional development, along with additional training opportunities funded by the American Jobs Plan and American Families Plan. So there is hope. There are many efforts that are in progress and being proposed as we build back better and reimagine Illinois' early childhood education and care mixed delivery system. Further advancing his commitment to making Illinois the best state in the nation for families raising young children, Governor Pritzker announced last month $1.6 billion in federal aid to expand access to high quality early childhood education. This includes $140 million in direct grants to child care providers that are available, adding to the $290 million granted to child care providers earlier in the pandemic. In addition, the governor announced the establishment of a network of statewide early childhood planning councils to ensure all communities have access to the early childhood services they need. During his first year in office, Governor Pritzker appointed the Illinois Commission on Equitable Early Childhood Education and Care Funding. The state's early childhood system is complex, with multiple agencies administering varied programs. The commission has released a report that included a roadmap to establish an improved system in Illinois, particularly as it relates to lower income children, rural children, children of color, and children with disabilities. Based on the recommendation from the commission's report, over the next 18 months, the administration will launch the Early Childhood Planning Councils in communities across the state. The council's leadership will work with families, local early childhood providers, schools, civic leaders, and the business community to ensure every community in the state has the unique early childhood services it needs. Through the work of the local councils, families will be given a voice in designing the early childhood services they need, especially families who have historically not been included in the decision-making process. In the coming months and years, the state of Illinois will work towards establishing a system that is easier for families to navigate, provides more predictable funding for early childhood programs, and is responsive to local needs in communities across the state. The governor recently outlined statewide learning renewal efforts that will be led by members of the Illinois P20 Council. There's an emphasis on academic recovery and social and emotional supports as we move forward with building back our system. To address these needs, learning renewal efforts will focus on infant and early childhood mental health consultation, which the pandemic has highlighted as a need within our communities to have increased social emotional supports for Illinois' youngest children, their families, as well as our early childhood educator workforce. Illinois is one of few states that actually offer infant and early childhood mental health consultation services across multiple systems that serve children and families. Our goal is to increase the number of consultants across the state. In addition, technology supports and materials for early intervention telehealth will be provided. Through the COVID-19, several inequities have been illuminated within our early intervention system. So federal funds will be used to provide technology for early intervention telehealth and developing culturally responsive materials in multiple languages. And then third, we will roll out an enrollment campaign for early childhood. As you are aware, enrollment is down across our early childhood programs within Illinois due to the pandemic. We're seeing notable declines in enrollment in our child care assistance program and our early Head Start and Head Start programs, our preschool for all programs, and enrollment is down in our kindergarten programs as well. Referrals are also down across Illinois in our home visiting programs. We know from past disruptions that enrollment is not likely to fully or quickly recover without focused family and community efforts to rebuild families' comfort with placing their children in formal early childhood programs. Now is the time for all of us to focus on re-enrollment and enrolling new families. To address the need for increased communication to families and to identify and address the barriers preventing families from enrolling in early childhood education and care programs, the state will allocate federal funds to support the development and implementation of an early childhood enrollment campaign. An early childhood enrollment campaign team has been convened, and together, this group will engage an external advertising and marketing firm with input from families to facilitate the development of an awareness and enrollment campaign that has statewide reach, that is tailored locally, and focuses on family engagement strategies that promote the importance and availability of early childhood programs and supports. Working together, the enrollment campaign will not only increase Illinois enrollment levels across our early childhood programs, but will also rebuild our families' engagement in our state systems. Before we leave this virtual space this evening, I want to remind you about the importance of self-care. Often not a priority for the early childhood educator workforce. It is true, if you don't take care of yourself, you have little or nothing to give to others. The pandemic has impacted the mental health and wellness of our workforce. Financial uncertainty, isolation from our friends and family members, and overall fear related to COVID-19 has been stressful, and we recognize the difficulties you have and continue to face. We can always say there's no time or there's not enough time. So therefore, this is my call to action for you. This is my ask that you make a commitment to yourself this evening. Start with taking selfish moments. I remember visiting a family childcare provider, and she invited me to join her for her selfish moment, which was a cup of tea. Whatever it is that you enjoy, it could be deep breathing, meditation, reading an inspirational message, a short podcast on wellness, whatever it is that makes you stop for a moment and take just a moment for yourself, a moment for reflection, just a moment to just stop and be still. I ask you again, that's my call to action, and that is my commitment that I'm asking for you and from you this evening. I leave you with the following quote from educator, author, and businessman, Stephen R. Covey. And you would remember Stephen Covey, his books, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And this quote is as follows: there are certain things that are fundamental to human fulfillment. The essence of these needs is captured in the phrase to live, to love, to learn, to leave a legacy. The need to live is our physical need for such things as food, clothing, shelter, economic well-being, and health. The need to love is our social need to relate to other people, to belong, to love, and to be loved. The need to learn is our mental need to develop and to grow. And the need to leave a legacy is our spiritual need to have a sense of meaning, purpose, personal congruence, and contribution. The future success of our nation depends on our ability to ensure all children have the chance to be successful. Thank you again for everything you do on behalf of children. Again, I thank you and I appreciate you. And at this time, I just like to leave you with a message of saying, be safe, and be well. Thank you again. Good night.
Thank you, Dr. Jor'dan from the Governor's Office of Early Childhood Development, for your comments about self-care, for your perspective over the last year from both a state and national perspective, and also what's to come, what to look forward to, and the challenges ahead. Thank you so much for being with us tonight for this ceremony. And we have a few more acknowledgements. And then after that, we are going to hear the winners of our 4 awards tonight. But first, let's turn it back over to Kelly Blandon.
Hi, everyone. It's Kelly Blandon again. At this time, we would like to acknowledge a few friends of WILL Education. It is because of your generous time and support and assistance, WILL Education is able to serve 18 different counties and over 90 school districts in East Central Illinois. First, we want to thank the friends of WILL. It is through your gifts that we are able to provide math, reading, and social emotional literacy support, at-home learning resources, both virtually and in-person outreach workshops and events for children and families, and professional development for educators in our area. We want to thank everyone connected to our Book Mentor project. This early literacy program directly serves about 500 children and their families through a partnership with our community volunteers, the Champaign County Head Start sites, and our grant provider, PNC Bank. PNC Bank has provided support for this program for the last 15 years. In addition to this, we want to thank the Kiwanis Club of Champaign-Urbana for their support with the Book Mentor Junior program. They volunteer their time and financial resources to ensure that our youngest friends at the Champaign Head Start site have access to quality books for their home libraries. We also want to thank Common Ground Food Cooperative in Urbana for their support in our social justice learning initiative. We understand that oftentimes a lack of understanding someone else's experiences can breed prejudice and discrimination. Together, we are committed to providing a space with the goal of sharing educational resources and materials that could help guide children, families, and educators when exploring critical conversations around identity. Lastly, we want to thank everyone who nominated someone for one of our Early Childhood Champion Awards tonight. Can you believe we received 52 submissions and we were so excited? We also want to acknowledge and thank our 2021 Nomination Review Committee for their time and energy in reviewing all the nominations we received. I led the committee, and then my committee members were Miss Marguerite Carter. She's a retired educator and director of the Rantoul We Prep for Success program. Dr. Urias Batuel Escobar, he's the assistant director of the Office of Minority Student Affairs. Dave Henry, the vice president and branch manager of PNC Bank. Miss Amber Cedar, she is a WILL Education Parent Ambassador. And lastly, Miss Chandra Somerville, Cultural and Linguistic Competence Coordinator at the Champaign County Mental Health and Disability Services. We could not have done this award ceremony tonight with the help of those individuals. They had to go through every application and read each and every one and score them. So big thank you to them. So now what we're going to do is I am going to read the criteria for each award. So our first award is the Emerging Professional Student Award. We intentionally designed this award to recognize a student enrolled in a program that was preparing them for a field of early childhood education. So the student nominated for this award must be currently enrolled in an approved early childhood education program as a graduate or undergraduate student. They must be in good academic standing, and they must have proven examples of outstanding professional excellence and advocacy for the future of this field. Our next award is the Emerging Professional Award. This must be a professional currently employed with a certified or accredited early childhood position. They must have been a professional for 5 years or less, and they must have proven examples of outstanding professional excellence and advocacy for the future of this field. Our third award is the Professional of the Year Award. This professional must be currently employed in a certified accredited early childhood education position, have 5 years or more professional working experience in this field, have proven examples of mentorship or support for new professionals in this field, and the professional must have proven examples of outstanding professional excellence and advocacy for the future of this field. And our last award that will be awarded tonight is our VIP award, Very Important Person of the Year. This nominee must have at least 1 year of work or volunteering with early childhood age children. The nominee must have worked or volunteered within the past 5 years with an early childhood age program or children. And the nominee must have proven examples of supporting educators, caregivers, providers, and families in the field of early childhood education. So this could be an organization, it could be an individual, it could be a neighbor, who knows? We are excited to see who our 2021 winners will be. Good luck to all.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Deering. I am the principal at Champaign Early Childhood Center for Champaign Unit District 4, and I nominated the Champaign-Urbana Kiwanis Club to receive this award. They really are dedicated to improving the literacy of our children that come to Champaign Early Childhood Center. They provide funding for us to purchase books for our children to keep. So they do that every year. And they come in, certain members come into the building and they read to our children. The best thing that we can all do for our children is to read to them early and often. Just coming in and spending time one-on-one with the child is special. They also help plan and pay for an event every year that we normally have. It's a literacy lunch bunch event where the Kiwanis members come and they bring food, and our families come in at lunchtime and sit down with their children, and they get another book to keep. Our teachers really love having this partnership with Kiwanis Club, and they all appreciate it very much. We greatly appreciate all they've done for our program, and we look forward to continued partnership with Kiwanis Club, and are very excited that Kiwanis Club were the winners of this award.
My name is Ana Holguin. I nominated Amanda Rivera for the Early Career Award. I am a doctoral student of the College of Ed, and I taught a course where Amanda was one of the students. And then I've also was Amanda's supervisor during her what we call early field placement. So that's like their first experiences in classrooms. The kids come to her because she's very warm in her approach to them, in her interactions with them. I saw, all those things we tell teachers, get to the children level, like she would get to the children level. She will speak softly. Even when she was redirecting them to do something, it was firm, but soft, gentle. You can feel the caring coming from her. This other part to her, this side of her of being a bilingual, Latina going into this field was very important. Students have the opportunity to get the endorsement, and it does mean more courses and a stronger commitment than just getting the degree, because it asks you to take additional courses. And she was never hesitant, and even though she could have just said, oh, well, I already know Spanish. No, she wanted the actual knowledge and the strategies. One of her placements was probably 75% Spanish, and she just shone through it. You could see even more of that connection with the students. She would apply that feedback that you gave her. She would be very interested in, learning a little bit more about how can I do this, which is the best way of approaching this, and what can I do better for the children.
My name is Nick Paulson. My family and I live in Urbana, and I have a daughter who is in kindergarten at Yankee Ridge. And so we nominated Stara Christoph, who otherwise known as Madame, and she is the dual language French-English kindergarten teacher at Yankee Ridge. She has somehow successfully taught a English or a dual language English and French group of kindergarten students, all online via Zoom. We've just been blown away by how she's been able to, create engagement over Zoom, which is a super difficult thing to do with adults, let alone children, and keep their attention and keep them, entertained and engaged in the things that they're talking about. One thing that I've noticed is she's very good at knowing when to transition to something new, really being good at breaking things up into those 10 or 15 minute chunks where you can keep their attention and keep them kind of on task. Making sure that each child is recognized individually in some way during each class session. We've tried to do some kind of French immersion at home. So we've done a little bit of French cooking because our daughter likes to kind of help with what she can when we're cooking dinner. I promised my daughter that if we found escargot in town that I would get it and we would make it. And so we found some snails in town, and we cooked them, and we took pictures and documented it, and we sent them to Stara. She showed pictures of my daughter eating snails to the entire class, and they all talked about that. And watching my daughter learn a language that I also took in high school and college, it's been fun to realize that I'm actually kind of at a kindergarten level in French, and kind of being able to relearn a lot of the language with my 5-year-old, and then hearing her in the bathtub, having her dolls that she's playing with speak French to one another and kind of a mix of French and English. It's been a blast to see, her learn so much.
I'm Christina Beatty, and I nominated Kate Carlson at Champaign Early Childhood Center for the Professional of the Year Award. I know Miss Kate because my daughter is currently in her class, and my son had her for 2 years several years ago. Miss Kate is, first of all, very enthusiastic. So she's really involved with the kids and a lot of fun. But I think what I most admire about her is her desire to really have every kid's voice be represented. She goes out of her way to make sure that dolls have various skin colors. She makes sure dolls have hearing aids to represent those like my son with a hearing loss. She also is really into the research that says that kids really do learn best when they can learn through play. So she's really creative in helping kids to learn through play. Yeah, so when my daughter comes off the bus, she's always thrilled to come off the bus and has things that she's made at school to show us. And I'd like to say she's happier coming off the bus than going on the bus. So she really enjoys school. Kate is, involved in the community. She really tries to have a voice for the voiceless whenever she can. And she's a really encouraging person to be around.
Congratulations to all the winners. Thank you to everyone who works in the early childhood field. We appreciate the work you do, especially this year. We look forward to supporting you in the coming year. And thank you, everyone. Please take care of yourselves. And that concludes our 2021 Early Childhood Champions. Thank you, everyone, and good night.